Okay, so today we are going to be doing the tint retouch to darken partially gray hair. You'll have 20 minutes to do this. The materials that you're gonna need are your quats, your SMA, your applicator brush, your applicator bowl, a pair of gloves. Remember, everything that touches the client goes on the SMA. Everything that does not touch a client does not go on it. The hair color, which is our simulated hair color, and we would write hair color on the outside of the shaving cream bottle, so it can be labeled. You'll have your protective cream, 2 towels, a plastic cape, 4 plastic clippies, a comb, a rat tail comb, a water bottle, some paper towels, a trash bag, your first aid kit, client record card, and SDS, and your laundry bag, and your soiled or clean container. Okay, so the procedure is first you would go wash your hands with soap and water. So I would walk to the bowl, wash my hands with soap and water, come back. And then I would do my table setup. So I would take everything out of my clean box, set it up, and then I'm going to go wash my hands again. I wash my hands again with soap and water. Now I'm going to drape my client in what's called a double drape. So a double drape is when you use 2 towels. One is going to go over the top of the head. You wouldn't want to cover your client's eyes, like that. The other one will go around the neck. So there's lots of ways that you can double drape, but this is the way that I like to do it. So I'm being careful not to allow my clothes to touch the client. And then you'll drape them with your plastic drape. Plastic so that hair color doesn't get on their clothes and stain their clothes. So it's vinyl or plastic. And you want to tie it nice and tight if it's a mannequin, because you don't want it to fall off. Of course, if it's a real client, you don't want to tie it too tight. Okay. Client's draped. So now pull that down, and we're making sure that the drape is not touching, coming in contact with the skin on the neck at all. Now we're going to just section the hair into 4 sections, 4 quadrants. So one right down the center, and then one behind the ears. We're going to be working in a front section because we're covering gray hair, and hair always turns gray around the front of the hair, or the hairline first. So we will start in the front. So I'm leaving the one down that we're going to work on, and the rest off the butt. You don't want to spend a lot of time doing this. The hair doesn't need to be perfect because you do only have 20 minutes. You want to have nice control of the hair, but don't spend a ton of time clipping it up. So now that it is sectioned in 4, we are going to do first the PD test. So this one is 10 minutes, okay? So we're gonna get our hair color. So first we're gonna get a little water over our trash bag, spray it on a paper towel, and clean behind the ear. So we're gonna clean the area about a quarter size behind the ear. Throw this in the bag. We're going to put on gloves for this. We're going to mix our color and our developer. So this is simulated, so we'll just use a little bit of shaving cream that's labeled with color. And you're going to use a Q-tip. Apply a small amount behind the ear where you cleaned it. Throw the Q-tip away. And then you're going to get your client record card and you're going to physically write down the results of the PD test as negative. It's always going to be negative when we're working on state board. Okay. All right. Then you would undrape the client and clean up. To save time, I'm not going to do that. So we're going to start on the next procedure. That was the PD test, and now we are going to go back to our tint retouch to darken partially gray hair. Okay, so I'm going to go wash my hands again, come back, get my new pair of gloves out. Okay, now I'm going to apply protective cream around the entire hairline. So make sure to put it around the entire hairline. You don't need to put gloves on for this part. You don't need to put your gloves on until you're going to mix up the color. But this goes around the entire hairline. Okay. Now I'm going to put on my gloves and dispense the hair color. So we'll use our shaving cream. Okay, so we're going to be using 1/4 inch subsections, okay? So we're going to start in the front and it's going to be on the new growth. Now, one thing to make sure is that we're not going to allow it to touch the skin, okay? So we're just going to start at the top. You want to have enough color to where you can see that it's on there. Okay, so we're going to go about 1 inch. And don't use so little that you can't see it. So you want to make sure that you can see it. So we're going about an inch on the end, on the roots. 1/4 inch subsection partings. And we're trying our best not to get it on the skin. If you do get it on the skin, it's okay. You'll get a paper towel and wipe it off. So you'll do this in the whole front section, and again, this is the regrowth. So we're doing about an inch. And again, this is gray hair, tint to darken, partially gray hair, which is why we're working in the front. Whenever you are covering gray hair, you start in a front quadrant, because there's always more gray hair in the front than the back. Don't forget to use enough that we can see it. So I like to work from top to bottom, because we have to do our first strand test in the bottom and the hair will already be up. You'll want to have a mannequin head that has hair long enough to stay in place. If the hair is too short, it's going to fall down. Okay, so that's the whole front quadrant is done now. And now I'm going to do my first strand test underneath. So I'm going to take a napkin. I'm going to take about a 1-inch section of hair, put it underneath, get my water bottle, spray it off, and I'm taking the paper towel to get that section clean. I'll throw this in the trash. And now I'm going to comb to break through the line of demarcation. So all this means is I'm going to take my comb and drag the color down a little bit so you don't see a harsh line. So 1, 2, that's all you need to do for each one. So still using a 1/4 inch subsections. 1, 2. Now at this point, it's okay if you don't see the shaving cream as much because it does dissipate over time. But what the instructor is going to be looking at when they're testing you is that they see it going on the initial time. We know that it dissipates, but as long as we see it go on there when you first apply it, we know it's there. So don't make it so thin when you first apply it that you can't see it. But as I said, we know over time it starts to dissipate. So just 1, 2 over each 1/4 inch subsection to break the line of demarcation. I'm not going through the ends. I'm just going a little bit past that 1 inch. One, 2. it on this section. If there was some on that section, you can always go through with a paper towel. And as soon as you see it get on the other section, you can wipe it off. Okay, so now we're gonna do our second strand test. So it's the same way. You just get about a 1-inch piece of hair, 1 inch by 1 inch. And you are gonna get a paper towel. Place it under the hair. Spray it with water. Wipe that hair clean. And lay it down. Okay, now the next step is make sure you get all the color off of your hands, throw it away, and now you're gonna rinse the client. So we're gonna rinse the client with cool water. So you'll actually take the mannequin head to the shampoo bowl. Jared, can you come with me? And you'll be greeted that you're doing this the correct way. So you're using cool water. So using cool water. You're just rinsing, no shampoo or conditioner, just rinsing that section and making sure not to get it on the other quadrant, so you're guiding the water with your hand. All the hair is gone, I'm gonna squeeze it. All the color is gone, I'm gonna squeeze it. And I should have brought a towel with me, let me go get it. Make sure that you bring a towel with you because you do have to dry the hair with a towel. Okay, and you can take the client back. Okay, your towel is going to go in your dirty linen bag. Your gloves now can be thrown in the trash. You would now comb out that subsection. And you can just clip that up as you're done with that section of hair. So we'll clip that up. And then you would undrape the client. And that is the end of the tint retouch to darken partially gray hair.